Hi boys and girls, today we're going to read Pumpkin Jack. It was written and illustrated by Will Hubble. This is one of my favorite stories to read in the fall. When Tim carved his first pumpkin, it was fierce and funny and just perfect. A jack-o'-lantern this good deserved a name, so Tim gave it one, Jack. Long after the best trick-or-treat candy was eaten, Tim still kept Jack. At night, when a candle made Jack's face dance on the wall and filled the dark with warm pumpkin smells, Tim felt Jack was almost magic, yet too soon the spell was broken. This pumpkin is beginning to rot, announced Mom. It's time to throw it out. Tim knew it was useless to argue. He carried Jack to the garden, which was filled with brown ghosts of last summer's plants. A dead garden is better than a trash can, thought Tim. Still, it made him sad to leave Jack outside and alone. Whenever chores or play brought Tim to the garden, he looked at Jack. Every time, Jack was different. He became wrinkled and his fierce smile began to look silly. Mold spread over Jack's bright orange skin. As the days turned colder, Jack grew flatter. Winter began. Soon, Jack was hidden beneath snow, and Tim forgot about him. The cold, heavy jacket days came, snowman and sliding days, indoor days, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Valentine's. When all these days had passed and the March winds melted the snow, Tim found Jack. There wasn't much left, just a faded and crumpled pumpkin skin, a stem, and a few seeds. Jack's Halloween magic was a distant memory now. Tim scraped a thin blanket of earth over the last bits of his pumpkin. "Goodbye, Jack," he whispered. When spring turned barefoot warm, a tiny sprout appeared where Jack had been. Tim found it and guessed what it was. What do you think it is? In the days that followed, Tim weeded and watered and watched the sprout. Slowly and steadily, the plant changed and grew. It branched and spread a web of vines over the ground, but no pumpkins appeared. The days turned hot. Flowers opened on the plant each morning, yellow stars that twisted shut forever in the afternoon. Still, there were no pumpkins. Finally, Tim found a little green ball growing behind a crumpled blossom. A pumpkin! Tim let out a whoop and ran to show his mom. By August, the plant had spilled onto the lawn, and Tim's favorite game became pumpkin hunting. He carefully waded among the leaves, searching for green pumpkins like hidden treasures. If you look very closely, there's one here, there's one here, there's one hiding down here, there's a tiny one starting right here. School began again, and the days cooled. Tim had less time to visit the garden. When he did, the pumpkin plant seemed tired. There were few new leaves, and the old tattered ones no longer hid the fat green pumpkins. Then one October morning, Tim woke up to see frost coating the garden. The frozen plants seemed changed to pale blue-green, and you can see the pumpkins are getting much bigger. After school, Tim discovered what the frost had done. The pumpkin plant's leaves were as limp as wet paper. It was dying. Tim searched among the withered leaves for the unripe pumpkins. He picked them and put them on the front porch, hoping for one more change. So, I think with this one you can see he's hoping that they will turn orange. By Halloween, the pumpkins had ripened to bright orange. There were many, for the plant had been generous. Tim was generous too, and he gave away all but one. From jack-o'-lantern to seed to pumpkin again, the circle was almost complete. Now it was time for Tim to do his part. He gave his pumpkin a face. It smiled at him in a fierce and funny way. Tim smiled too and said, "Welcome back, Jack." And that is the end. I hope you enjoyed Pumpkin Jack. Now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the events in the story and see if we can put them in order. So I have some cards to show you. All right. Here is one of the cards. So this is a bee on a flower. This is the sprout starting. This is the big green leaves. This is the orange flower. This is a seed. And this is an orange pumpkin. Now, if we had to think about those pictures, we know this one isn't first, right? So this one is not first. An orange pumpkin was not the first thing that Jack did. So we have to think. Let's look at these two pictures. Which one would come first? Right, the seeds. So we'll start with that one. The seeds come first. Now, what would happen next? Let's look at these two and decide which one comes next. Oops, I'm sorry. Let me try that again. There. Which one comes next? Right, the sprout. That's this one. So we have the seeds, and then we have the sprout. Now, which one would come next? We have an orange flower, and we have big leaves. Right, the big leaves. And then the orange flower. Now we have to decide out of these two which would come next. A bee or a big orange pumpkin. Right, the big orange pumpkin first. No. Right, the bee and then the big orange pumpkin. Now let me show you in order what the life cycle of a pumpkin would be. The seeds, the sprout, the big leaves, the flower, the bees on the flower, and then a bright orange pumpkin. Have a great day.